How are you all doing today? You love me. Madam Max, do you love me or do you love this image of me? It's an important distinction. Good morning, Flaming Stupid. Good morning, 70s. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. That was a real question, madam. Me or an image? It's a critical distinction. Me and the parts I share. The parts I share, which are part of me. I'd like to think that those parts are lovable. Thank you. I like putting my hair up like this. It's a thing. Prayer shawl. This used to be my grandfather's. It has words on it. See these words? Hebrew prayer. Baruch atah asherah anat malacha ha'olam asher kedishani v'mitzvotav v'tzivani lehitatif letzitzit. I look amazing today. Oh, thank you, Saturn. I suppose that's my job, right? What is my job? Do you know what my job is? I have such an amazing, calming aura. I try. I really do try. Like, I wonder, what is it that I'm offering you all? You love the dumpster dives. Guess I'm offering you entertainment. Maybe a kind of solace. Connection. Good morning, Kimmy. How are you? If I could have anything this holiday season, what would it be? What do I want? I think I want time. I want more time. Thank you for complimenting my voice. I just spent like 3 hours yesterday at a voice workshop. That was nice. I learned some things about resonance. I'll probably make a video about resonance. Offering education and beauty. Wow. Well, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good way to call it. So, today, we're going to say some prayers like we do every day. Would you like to join me? We can do some vocal warm-up, make sure that the voice is good and ready to connect to the other humans. And then we'll say some Hebrew words and Sanskrit words. How long do I stay live? Usually about an hour. Maybe a little less. Good morning, Sarah. Positive vibes only. And then, dude, you're not a chick. So is TikTok. Such is TikTok. What a strange environment. She's a girl. What's wrong with you people? Yes, I do have mods. Ideation Station. I do. But, there's only so much they can do. Like, okay, so here's the thing. Maybe we can actually try this out, because there's a lot of you in the room today. The best way to moderate the chat is actually just to fill it with good ideas, right? Because we're playing an attention game, right? So I'm here, I'm going to say some words. I'm going to say words that I say all the time. And it's your job to respond, right? It's your job to respond, and the mood of the room, the mood of the chat, is completely contingent on what you all say. So, if you would like to fill the chat space with compliments or communication amongst each other, right? I really like it when there's crosstalk and you're like, oh, I like what you said, Ideation Station. Just respond to one another, talk to one another, actually have a conversation with one another about what we're focusing on today, and we can drown out all of those people that want to hurt me or insult me, right? Like, it's actually not a matter of banning them or muting them, because they'll just come back, right? But we can actually fill this space with the kind of ideas that we want to fill it with. And I can only go so far, right? Like, I have a voice. Y'all are the ones that are typing. That's your space. And it's up to all of you to make it a good space. So, please fill it with nice comments. Please do. a long string of nice comments. And that's the best way to handle trolls, in my opinion. And it will require work, right? It requires input from all of you to make the average comment of the space the kind of comment that we want to see. Immaculate vibes. So, now we're going to do a vocal warm-up. So if you'd like to do this along with me, I find this is a very useful practice for getting ready to start the day, to start speaking. Thank you for the rose. We're just going to take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, we're going to make a tone, a very low tone, and the goal here is to hold that tone for as long as you can. Have it be even and consistent. Doesn't matter the quality of the tone, just even. Even, consistent, and low is usually helpful. Gosh, thank you for the roses and the hearts. I love it. We will fill it. Won't leave space for those who don't really want to be here. Exactly. Just fill up the space. Fill up the chat. Okay. Good morning. So inhale. Exhale with a tone. Deep breath in. Now we'll do the same thing, but a little bit higher. It's not actually my lungs. It's more my glottal control, right? Containing my vocal folds and maintaining an even pressure there, so that it only takes a very small amount of pressure, air pressure from the lungs, in order to make a steady, even tone, right? It's not that my lung capacity is any better than yours. It's my muscle control right around here. Feel that in your solar plexus. Yes, that's where you should feel it, right? Here, we want to loosen this area, tighten this area for even control. So we're going to do that same thing, only a little bit higher. You'll see I won't be able to hold the note for as long at that higher pitch because it's a little bit more of a strain, but it's still worth practicing, right? So deep breath in. I liked that galaxy and that rain of coins. That's pretty great. I've not seen either of those animations before. That's pretty lovely. So you can see I couldn't hold that note as high because that's basically the top of my speaking range. And but now we can go even higher and we'll move into falsetto. And when we move into falsetto, I'll be able to hold the tone for higher. Your cat freaked out by notes. Yes, these tones scare cats. That's part of why they're special. So, deep breath in. High note, high pure note. Ready? Inhale and exhale. Thank you all so much for being here this morning. I love it. I love being here with you. You think you did that one properly that time? Yeah, it takes practice, but it's a nice kind of meditation, right? Aligning all of the different muscles in our vocal system to be aligned. That's repetitive. That's redundant. Throat chakra was ringing like a bell. Yeah, I love that kind of ringing sound. That's how I know I'm doing it right. Made your fingers tingle. Good. Yeah, these practices have real effects on the body. So I try to do that every day. Sometimes I'll do it for much longer than just 3 notes, but typically in the live stream I just do 3 notes because we've got a lot to get to. So now we're going to say some prayers. We're we're going to say prayers from the Book of Deuteronomy. The first prayer we're going to say is called the Shema. Shema means listen. How many of you have heard this prayer in some other context? How many of you are Jewish? And how many of you are not Jewish? How many of you have never heard this before? What is your religious tradition? Please share that in the chat. I love seeing how diverse this audience is, because we come from many walks of life, many different spiritual and religious traditions, and it's really cool to see who comes from where. So this is Hebrew language. Shema means listen. It goes like this. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael. Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Listen, Israel. Yahweh Eloheinu, Asherah, Echad are one. Right? This God here, Asherah. This God here, Ganesh. Even though they come from radically different times, radically different places in the world, they both represent the same thing. Right? What is that thing? Well, it's ineffable. I can't tell you what it is. It's just the same. All things are actually the same at their bottom, at their root, right? Like a serpent that eats its tail. The universe contains itself infinitely, right? Your mind is a reflection of the infinite universe out there. It has infinite diversity inside itself. And so it goes, right? The Tao, yeah, the Tao is the same thing as those gods, right? It's all the same, right? That's what we meditate upon. We try to notice that at the base, most simple level of the universe, it's all the same substance, all the same unitary thing. Yahweh Echad, all is one. The universe isn't infinite. No, Twelver, you don't think the universe isn't infinite. You think it's bounded and God exists outside that boundary? That's a metaphysical position you can hold. I disagree with you, and we can argue about philosophy, argue about what infinity is, but I appreciate your perspective. Always challenging me in this space. That which can be said is not the Tao. Yes, exactly. That which can be said is not the Tao. A word that means only not a thing. ואהבת את ענת אלוהיך ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר נוחי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך Uvisharecha. Who created the universe? The universe created the universe. The universe has agency, and the universe created agency, and the universe made itself, like a serpent that eats its tail, consumes itself, creates itself. That's who made the universe. Hebrew is the language, yes. Thank you, Sarah, for answering that question. I appreciate that. Yes, Hebrew from the Book of Deuteronomy. You feel privileged to be part of this. Privileged! I suppose it's a privilege to have the time to be here and to have enough money to have a cell phone with a cell phone plan. I feel privileged to be part of this. Like, look at me. What is this? Why do I get to be here? Who said that I deserve this? No one. Who created the snake? Itself. Yes, the snake created itself. Creation through consumption, like a bush that burns but is not consumed. Whose agents? Agency. How does agency emerge in a universe? That's a very interesting question, right? So when the universe began, the best scientific theories that we have, the best evidence-based stories that we have, says that when the universe began, there was no agency. The universe began 13.7 billion years ago. Agency emerged 3.8 billion years ago with Luca, the last universal common ancestor, right? Luca began this tree. Luca was located right here, and then Luca divided and divided and divided, and all of these different creatures emerged on this tree of life. But the tree of life is not as old as the universe. The universe is older. My shawl is called a talit. or tallis, depending on if you're saying it in singular or plural. This belonged to my grandfather. It's a prayer shawl. Who created Luca? Luca created Luca. That's the thing. Luca made Luca. So an egg wasn't laid and hatched. No, the egg created itself. The egg laid itself, like a serpent that eats its tail. What is that tree? This tree is a universal phylogeny. It's a phylogenetic tree which contains all living creatures that exist today. So I mentioned the Bible, but I think things created themselves. Yes, I think things created the Bible. I think my ancestors created the Bible. What's the story of Luca from? The story of Luca comes from Darwinism, comes from evolutionary theory. We've looked back at the genetic patterns that exist in you and me and trees and bacterium and archaea, right? And we've looked at all of the different patterns, and we've noticed that there's commonalities between them. And we've done molecular clock analysis, and we have concluded that 3.8 billion years ago, Luca emerged. And from that first emergence of life, all life descended. I think that's pretty beautiful. I think that's pretty stunning. I think it's holy, basically, right? Like when I'm praying, people always ask, I'm sure people in this stream have already asked, who am I praying to? Am I praying to God? God has always been and always will be. Maybe, but what I'm praying to is actually this tree, right? This is the clearest thing that I can say, yes, I'm praying to this. Because this tree is me. This tree is me in an ultimate sense. I am part of this tree. I will always be part of this tree. And I think it is holy. And so we pray to it. And you shall love Yahweh Eloheinu. Hi. Hi. Orchid? Orchid time?
Can I have the potting mix?
The potting mix. Yes. You should take down my chair. You should take the make off my chair, and then you could take down the chair. The potting mix is in the corner above Bedland.
Okay.
In the shelf way up there. It's not in this room.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I love you too. So, I said the Ve'ahavta in Hebrew, but I didn't translate it for you. So I'm going to translate it for you now. Maybe I'll say it in Hebrew one more time, really quickly. Ve'ahavta et Yahweh Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha. And you shall love Yahweh Eloheinu with all your heart and all your soul and all your might. And these words which I am speaking to you today, teach them to your children. And recite them when you are out and when you are at home. And you shall say them when you wake up and when you go to bed at night. You shall bind them as a symbol on your hand and place them as a sign between your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates with all your soul and all your might. Yes, Yahweh is God. Yahweh is a name for God, for sure. Yahweh is a name for God. I've been trying to find my page, but you couldn't remember my page name. But TikTok decided today to show my page to a lot more people than normal. And I don't know why. It's just random. But the prayer says, copy me. And my rice is ready. The prayer says, copy me. And so I copy the prayer. And when I say those words, it makes me feel like I'm part of this tree, right? Not necessarily part of this tree, but the lineage that is 3,000 years old that connects me to my ancestors in the Levant thousands of years ago, right? These words have been said constantly by people all over the planet for at least 2,500 years, right? Because the words ask us to copy them. And I think that's really beautiful, right? I think that is perhaps a better metaphor for life than anything that I know, right? Like a serpent that eats its tail, right? The words create themselves. The serpent creates itself. The words say, copy me. The words say me. And so I say them. What religion is that? Judaism. Judaism. Why don't we learn about it in school? Did you go to Hebrew school? Right? Like if you received a Jewish education, you would have learned those words. But at least at my Hebrew school, I went to a conservative synagogue. We weren't taught the meaning. Why do I say Yahweh if I believe in agents? That is a question poorly formed. But I say the word Yahweh because it connects me to the history of the time when it was okay to say the word Yahweh. And so I say it. So much going on. Did you get it? You found the orchid mix. Very good. Hi. Bye.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye.
Your view isn't exactly that. You believe in a sort of pantheism. The divine is nature and also transcendent. This question about a transcendent divine is an interesting one. Like, I'm not actually sure that the concept of transcendence holds much weight for me, right? Like, I think that the only thing that is what is, right? The only part of the world is the material world, and to me, it feels like a contradiction to try to imagine a God that exists outside of that, right? The world is what is holy. The world is what makes itself. Religion and spirituality is very complex and different for everyone. Yes, indeed. You love my lives. Well, I'm glad you're here, Plumpling. That's a great name. Pantheism is surprisingly a part of Orthodox Hasidic Jewish philosophy. How so? What, you mean like Sephirot? The Shekinah, right? Like, there's a lot of concepts, but I've never heard someone say that pantheism is part of Orthodox Judaism before. You're going to pray for me. Well, I'm going to pray for you. We'll all pray for each other. It's great. V'chaya ki v'yachaya Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'ele v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha. That's the wrong prayer. Yahweh, the one Moses spoke, the one that took the Israelites out of Egypt. Yeah. V'chaya ki v'yachaya Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha v'chayu. Why do I keep on... What's going on with my brain? I'm mixing the two prayers. Let's do this for a third time. V'chaya ki v'yachaya Elohecha Levram liskach ul Yaakov latitlach avrim lidovot. I need to actually get the words. Sometimes the words, they just leave me. That's remarkable. All right. Where are we? Here. Okay. V'chaya ki v'yachaya Elohecha el haaretz asher nisbai levatecha levram liskach ul Yaakov latitlach avrim gedolot v'dovot asher lo vanita uvati mileim kol tuva asher lo mileta uverot atzuvim asher lo asat v'keravim v'zitim asher lo natata ve'alachta v'shavata hishamer lecha ben tishchach et Yahweh asher tishacha mi'eretz Mitzrayim mibet avadim. Who freed us from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. What is this house of bondage? What do you think it is? So you speaking the Most High God, how says, let my people go. I'm an encyclopedia of wonderful knowledge. Thank you for enlightening and expanding my thoughts. I'm glad, Julie. I'm glad. Do I have a job? I've got so many jobs, Kitty. I want to quit most of my jobs. This is one of my jobs. It doesn't pay nearly as well as the other ones. Julie Duke, it's nice to see you. You comment on basically every one of my videos, but I don't know how often you've been in these lives. I'm glad you're here. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. I came upon a wedding that old families had contrived, with Bethlehem the bridegroom and Babylon the bride. Oh, great Babylon was trembling, and she stood there naked with me. And Bethlehem inflamed us both like the shy one at some orgy. And when we fell together, all our flesh was like a veil that we had to draw aside to see the serpent eat its tail. Oh, some women wait for Jesus, and some we wait for Cain. So I'll hang upon this altar, and I'll hoist my axe again, and I'll take the one who finds me back to where it all began, back when Jesus was the honeymoon and Cain was just a man. And we'll read from pleasant Bibles that are bound in blood and skin, that Asherah is gathering all her children back again. Good morning, Kathy. It's so nice to see you. I'm glad you like my flourishing videos, Constance. I'm glad you're here. This has been an eye-opening stream. I love the explanation of my belief. Well, thank you, Scarlett. I try, right? Like, I come on here every day, and I try to explain to other people what my religious orientation is, what my spiritual orientation is. And I usually feel like I'm failing, because the average presence in this room, most people come in here and they stay for 25 seconds and then they go, right? That's on average. And so I'm constantly speaking to a new audience, a new group of people, and I know that there's a core group that's here all the time. But it's hard to speak to so many people at once, and I often feel misunderstood. And it's very reassuring to see the stream full of compliments. It's not often that way, right? It's not often that people are like, oh yes, I love being here, you're teaching me so much. Like, it actually means a lot for me to hear that, even though I hear it over and over and over again, because the feedback gives me energy. Like, it gives me motivation to keep doing this. Because otherwise it kind of feels like I'm just shouting into a void. I don't know who's here, who's watching. You're such a light. I really appreciate your example. I love your Hebrew recitations prayers. Well, thank you, Twelver. I appreciate the way that you question my theology. Right? Theology needs questioning. And I would love to get deeper with you in some of these questions. Unfortunately, a live stream is not the best way to do it. But if you want to join my Discord server, we could talk more there. And I would like that very much. Good morning. I love your TikToks. You really learn a lot from them. Keep on being... Well, thank you. What do? I pray in a little electronic box for your benefit and amusement many times every week. You're still waiting on how the tree breathed life into you. Not sure I understand that. We can say some more prayers, though. It's a low prayer. A man's prayer. Ready for the man's prayer? Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, shelo ashani isha. I repeat the name of Yahweh Eloheinu, who did not make me a woman. Stinky Pinky, you're with the Ishtar Collective. We love you. I want to hang out with you. I keep on talking to Abby about coming to one of your meetings. I want to learn about you and what you do. I have so much curiosity. Can we hang out soon? Like what, next Wednesday? Something like that? I have so many questions. So many questions that I cannot ask on this stream. Yes. Let's do it. Great. You have meetings on Wednesdays, right? Next Wednesday. I'll be there. I love learning about new other religions in the world. So amazing. What is my room code? There's a link in my bio, Twelver. You can get access to the Discord server then. Do I believe in the paranormal? No, absolutely not, Scarlett, right? I have no supernaturalist beliefs. None whatsoever, right? The only thing that exists is what exists. There's nothing outside of the world that is capable of affecting the world. If it's capable of affecting the world, then it must be in the world. I don't believe in two realms, just one. One realm, that's this one. This material world that we are all embedded in, that has made all of us, and that we make by being inside it. It's pretty cool. Baruch atah Asherah, Adonat Malecha Ha'olam, Asher Yitzaret Ha'adam B'chachama Uvara Ve'or. I repeat the name of Asherah Anat, who made me with many openings and cavities. Here's Asherah. Isn't that crazy that's a prayer? I mean, it's not actually said to Asherah usually. Usually it's Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shelo ashani isha. Thank you, Yahweh, for making me with openings and cavities. But it's clearly a woman's prayer. It's clearly a woman's prayer. You remind me of Spinoza. Well, that's a compliment. Does my belief have a good idea of what death is like? I have some ideas about death. Am I speaking Akkadian? No. But I believe Akkadian is a Semitic language, so speaking something that sounds similar to Akkadian, perhaps. I think that when we die, we remain this tree that we've always been a part of. That's the answer, right? Like, I've made films about it. Death is part of life. Life is part of death. They're intertwined. They're impenetrable, right? Again, this symbol, the serpent that eats itself, right? The serpent is dying and being reborn in every moment. So when I die, when this body fades, what will remain will be the pattern of me that came before me, right? Like, this genetic code that is in me is in my parents, it will be in my children, right? And even if I don't have kids, it will be in all of the other humans that are very similar to me, right? There are things that make me me, that also make others others, and those are the things that are immortal. Those are the things that I persist. And when I die, these recordings will still remain in some strange electronic form in the ether, and they'll continue to affect people. And that's my hope, right? That's how I live my life, right? Like, I try to put myself into a form, to some kind of physical form that can persist when this physical form does not, right? And who I am is a living pattern, and that living pattern will continue when my body goes. It just won't be precisely me. It will be beyond me. It will be something else. I I'm twisting the scripture as he spoke to Jesus in Matthew 4. I am certainly twisting the scripture, very deliberately twisting the scripture, right? What am I doing? Saying the name of Ashura. The scripture says, quite deliberately, cut down those Ashura poles. Don't worship that goddess with her large tits. It's not okay. Did you know that the Hebrew word for holy and the Hebrew word for prostitute have the same root? QDS, Kaddish. It's in my name, Kaddish. Isn't that amazing? I think it's special. Ashura. That's so crazy. Thank you for explaining. It's really reassuring. Ashura, yes. So Ashura was Yahweh's wife before she was eliminated from the theology around 2,500 years ago. I can show you some other goddesses. Here we have Katesh, right? This is a goddess Katesh, also Kadesh. Ishtar is another version of her name, right? That's all this ancient goddess. You see her all over the ancient Near East. So here she is, and she's riding a lion. She's arousing this Egyptian god here quite a lot. Her name means holy, Kadosh, 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 Katesh, Kadosh, Kaddish, Kaddish. Prostitute in ancient Hebrew. I think it's great. I just love it. I've been saying that fact all the time. It's pretty good. We're going to switch languages now, though. Now we're going to go into Sanskrit. And we're going to say some prayers that I learned at the Shivananda ashram. Your question is, where do your thoughts go? Is death like sleep and dream? Is that where our beings go? Julie, I think that your thoughts go away. I think when your brain decays, your brain is the substance where thoughts occur, and I think when your brain decays, your thoughts go with them. Good morning, Clover. God damn it! I just really like you. Hi. Do I believe in one right religion, that people have the ability to make their own religion? There's no one right religion. Religion is culture, right? Like, religion is a product of culture, and just as there's many cultures, there's many religions. There's no one truth. It's just, we just live, right? How we view the world is going to be contingent on our histories, and our histories are contingent with our cultures. And the light will set you free. BC, he loves you, as he wrote in Jeremiah 31:3. The Book of Jeremiah is a scary book. That's a book about trauma, my friend, right? The Book of Jeremiah is full of these things like, I'm going to cut you down like a bush so that you can regrow, right? Like, it's this extended metaphor about why Yahweh thinks that genocide is okay. It's a scary book, Jeremiah. Do I listen to Alan Watts? No. I mean, like, a very, very small amount, but I can't say that I've studied him. The first line of Patanjali. I don't know what the first line of Patanjali. What is the first line of Patanjali? I was reading on here. Maybe I can pull it up. I've got the Rig Veda here, but I've not actually read much Patanjali. Patanjali is younger than the Rig Veda. I go as old as I can, right? This is the oldest Sanskrit text that we have, so this is what I pay attention to. But I would love to read some more Patanjali. Please keep spreading your insight. Never stayed in a stream so long before, but I've been inspiring. Well, thank you. Hey, Skylar. I'm well. All right. I feel like I'm losing track because there's so many lovely people in here, and I don't know who's here, who's not. Clover's here. Thank you, Clover, for being here. Like, really, truly. I don't really know how to explain to you why it means so much to me, other than that, like, it's a coincidence of worlds, but it's just nice. It's just really nice. So, let's say Gajananam. Gajananam. From the Shivananda tradition. Patanjali feels like living instructions compared to the Gita. Well, yeah, I mean, Patanjali is much more, like, Patanjali is a yoga guide, right? Patanjali was a single person who, like, had some thoughts about yoga, and he wrote them down. The Rig Veda, the Upanishads, they're much more theological text. Yeah, Patanjali put yoga in the world for the first time. So this prayer that we're going to say, does come from around the same time that Patanjali does, right? And I learned this prayer when I was learning pranayama practice. And of course, Patanjali was the first person to put pranayama practice into writing. So I have studied a little bit of Patanjali. Wait, let me pull up some Patanjali right now. I can read you some Patanjali. I have it. Samadhi siddhir ishvara pratita nat. Through outward orientation towards the ideal of pure awareness, one can achieve integration. Tato dvanvana bigata. Then one is no longer disturbed by the play of opposites, like male and female, good and bad. Prayatna sathilyanata samapatibhyam. This occurs as all effort relaxes and coalescence arises, revealing that the body and the infinite universe are indivisible. Tasmin satisvasa prasasvayorgati vicheta pranayama. With effort relaxing, the flow of inhalation and exhalation can be brought to a standstill, and this is called breath regulation. Alright, so that's enough Patanjali for today. Unfortunately, I can't put on the screen what I was reading. Patanjali's pretty cool. I learned some Patanjali back in the day. I'd love to learn more. Maybe one day I will. So, now, do I believe in karma? I believe in balance and symmetry. Karma is a theologically loaded term that is contingent on a kind of reincarnation that I'm not sure I can get behind. But certainly I think that the universe is balanced. I think it's symmetrical. There is a kind of steady state that we find ourselves in. Gajananam Bhudaganadi Sevitam Kapita Shambhupala Sarabhakshitam Ummasutam Sakabina Sakarnam Mahamatim Divyamevavahanam Ridasyasinam Sarasainanatam Guham Sadanam Saranam Prapadye Yaku Hendutu Saraharadvala Yasupravasvarita Yavina Varanda Manditakara Yasveta Padmasana Ya Brahmachuta Sankara Pratrapi Devasata Pujita Samampatu Sarasvati Bhagavati Nehe Satyadhyapa Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nisparanchaya Santaya Shri Shivanandaya Te Namaha Shri Vishnudevanandaya Te Namaha Om Sarva Mangla Manglaye Shive Savarta Sadike Saranye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Om I repeat the name of the Divine Mother Narayani, who brings auspiciousness to those who repeat her name. Narayani. So, who's Narayani? Well, she's not Ashura, but she is Ashura because all is one, right? So there are many names for the Divine Feminine. Narayani is one, and in that prayer we invoke her, for good or for bad. Who knows? Now, we'll make another long tone. We'll make another tone. Anyone like to make this tone with me? Take a deep breath in and make a long, deep tone for as long as you can. Trayambakam yajamai Sugandim pushchivardhanam Varva Rukami bhavandanan Mrityar Mukshiyamamritato Trayambakam yajamai Sugandim pushchivardhanam Varva Rukami bhavandanan Mrityar Mukshiyamamritato Trayambakam yajamahe Sugandim pushchivardhanam Orva Rukami bhavandanan Mrityar Mukshiyamamritato Sarvesham Svastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu Makashit Tukabag Bhave Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Mritam Gamaya Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachati Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishati Om Shanti 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 Om Peace Peace Peace. Kelly, this is the Maharityunjaya mantra. It's a Shiva mantra, and the last verse can be translated as Om. This outer world is full. This inner world is also full. From fullness comes fullness, taking fullness. From fullness, fullness remains, like a serpent that eats its tail. How is Beatrice? Beatrice is dead. Beatrice died 2 days ago, and today I'm going to mount her in a sarcophagus, and I will film the final piece of the series that I've been making about her. The films about Beatrice have always been about death. You've known that he was going to die for as long as I was telling you about him, right? He came into this room because he was injured, fatally ill, right? He had a disease, a Proteus disease, OE, which caused him to die. And I brought him into this space because I thought it would be a way to meditate on death. Let's do full Gayatri. Well, so I don't know that prayer, but if you join my Discord server, and you post it, I will memorize it, and I will do it on this stream, I promise you. Right, I would love to learn the Gayatri Prayer. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, join my Discord server, give me the resources to learn the prayer, and I will learn the prayer. Right, like, I want to pray with you all. I want to learn the prayers that you all know. This isn't a one-way relationship, right? Like, I want to learn what you know. So, it's a challenge. Do a short version. Well, so I know nothing about that prayer, right? I the only thing I know about is its name. Can I explain what this is? I can try. Yosei? Can anyone else explain what this is? Please? Please. Actually, you all in the chat are more capable of explaining what it is that we are doing today, than I am. Right? I'm just the one on camera. I'm not actually the majority of the doing. You all, 58 of you right now, right? We're all doing this together here right now. What are we doing? What are we doing? You let me know. These are morning prayers and rituals. Your opinion. Yes. Morning prayers and rituals. On top of that, we're doing a kind of social media thing. We're praying and vibing, modeling love, patience, and action. I like that. Yeah. I also think there's a thing about shared attention, right? Because TikTok is like an attention machine. Everybody's on here because they want everyone else to look at them. And so we're all looking. We're all looking at one another. We're all creating a space together where we can focus on the same things. Your favorite prayer: good food, good meat, good God, let's eat. We're doing Katha Upanishad. But we're not doing Katha Upanishad. I'm not reading from the Upanishads. I'd like to. I don't know much about the Upanishads. I've read a little bit of it, but not very much. Good food, good meat, good God, let's eat. Yeah. I'll say that prayer when I have breakfast, Clover. That's great. Yeah. We're vibing. We're hanging out together. That's what we're doing. Well, here's my favorite prayer of this whole sequence, because it's in English, and so you all understand it. Good breakfast prayer, yes. So people ask who I'm praying to, and I never have a good answer, right? Like today I said, I'm praying to this tree of life. And I do like the tree of life, but I'm not actually praying to it. I'm not expecting anything from this tree. It's a tree. Yes, come in.
You're busy.
I'm live.
Do you want some King's Drafaria cooked in lard with eggplants?
Absolutely. Do I want some King Strafaria cooked in lard with eggplants? Yes, I do. Good food, good meat, good God, let's eat. Maybe they'll bring me King Strafaria with eggplant. What is one thing that's made me happy in the last week? When my housemate comes in and asks me if I want mushrooms and eggplant and lard that we grew and processed. That makes me really happy. The prayer works. Good timing. So, but I'm not usually praying to anything, right? Or about anything. Like, I pray with. And there's this song by Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros that really gets to me. That better than any of the other prayers that I say every morning, gets at what it is that I think that we're doing. And it goes like this. I'm going to take a sip of water. Okay. Ring some bells. I don't want to pray to my maker, no. I just want to be what I see. Not just who I am, but the pink and golden land and that wide, wild sky over me. Help me to the sun, hey, I'm looking everywhere. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. Pray, and it's not much good to talk, better to... Oh my god. You're just too good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
I will.
I enjoyed harvesting them so much.
They're really special.
And we're giving them to CSA.
We are? That's so good. Look at these mushrooms. Got interrupted in the middle of my prayer. I'll start over. I posted a video about these mushrooms the other day. They're really special. King Stropharia. My students planted them. They taste kind of vegetable-y, like asparagus. Wow. That's so good. Okay, but I'm going to save the rest of these until we actually eat breakfast. Even though they might get a little cold. That's so good. Alright, can you see these? Just kind of like brown because they're covered in lard, but it's just very excellent. Alright, let's start over. Sorry about that interruption. No, they're not from the bin. We grew them. It's mushrooms and eggplant that we grew at my farm. I'm blessed with very good food. Extremely good food. Yes, I'm okay with eating living entities. I think you are too. I'm sure you're okay with eating living entities. You don't have to believe anything, but be open to anything. Take sense, peace, and calm after. Good food, good meat, good God, let's eat. I don't want to pray to my maker, no. I just want to be what I see. Not just who I am, but the pink and golden land and that wide, wild sky over me. Help me to the sun, hey, I'm looking everywhere. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. And it's not much good to talk, better to walk it. Woo, not much good to take, better to give. We are done, forgiven, and forgotten of our sins. And I promise you, my friends, all that dies will live again. So, pardon God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. I love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher, made good, and Anat made bad. Eloheinu made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made, God made, God made. But I don't want to pray to my maker. I just want to be what I see. Not like in a book, or the leaves of trees that shook from a word that means only not a thing. Hashem. Pardon God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. I love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher, made good, and Anat made bad. Eloheinu made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made, God made, God made me. Except that's a lie. It's a fiction, you know? None of those gods exist except in the stories that we tell. And actually, I made me. I just want to be what I see. Yeah. I made me, you made me, we all are making each other right now. Right? We make this space, we teach each other, we make ourselves who we are. Because we're social creatures. Someone asked, who is Jesus to me? And there are many answers I could give to that, but the one I want to give today, right now, is that Jesus is the dead and resurrected God. Jesus is the reincarnation of Baal, the reincarnation of Osiris. He is one of a long lineage of Eastern Mediterranean fertility deities who die and are reborn. Right? I promise you, my friends, all that dies will live again. Right? For as long as there have been people, we have known that life exists in cycles. And in fact, the Abrahamic faiths sort of convince us otherwise. They try to convince us that there's some final heaven, right? Some conclusion. But there's no conclusion, right? Life just cycles forever and ever and ever. Another question was asked if I'm an activist. I wouldn't say that I'm an activist. When I was younger, I absolutely would tell people that I was an activist, right? Like, I thought I was a food activist, I was a dumpster diver, I was going to save the world from food waste, or like I was going to spread the communities movement far and wide and make sure that everyone knew that living in communes was the best possible way to live. But it's not. Living in communes is not the best possible way to live. It's the way that I live, and it works for me. But I no longer am trying to impact the world politically. It's important that people do that. I'm glad that there are activists in the world. I do not have the emotional energy to be an activist in that sense. I try to live my life as best that I can, and I try to share my perspective with others. But it is not my goal to change the political system that we live in. That sounds like a sacrifice that I'm not willing to make. A sacrifice of my selfhood that I'm not willing to make. I live with activists. I live with, radical leftists who want to fix our food system. And that's great that they're doing that. It's not what I'm about, right? I'm more concerned with God. And God is beyond political ideologies. And I don't say that dismissively, right? Like, ideologically, I'm a pretty anarchistic, leftist kind of human. But I'm not an activist. And I don't know Christopher Isherwood. Don't fight for injustice everywhere. I do not have the capacity to fight for injustice everywhere. I simply do not. I'm just a human. Just one human. Right? I can hope that injustice goes away, but I can't fight for it. I don't have the capacity to fight. It's not in my nature. So, we have a couple more prayers. A couple more prayers before we can eat breakfast. Did I move my goats yesterday? No, I moved them 2 days ago. Have to move the goats today. Didn't move them yesterday. I often move the goats on the days that I live stream. So, a couple more prayers. I'm sorry if you've answered this before, but what does my hand tattoo symbolize? I have answered this before. I appreciate the the concern. It's basically not possible for me to answer what this hand tattoo symbolizes. Like, I say it after every prayer that contains this, right? Like, some of my prayers literally talk about a serpent eating its tail. It's a metaphor for the infinite, right? It's a metaphor for life. This is a symbol that is one way of expressing the relationship between your cells and your DNA, right? The cells contain the DNA represents the cells, right? It's a relationship between your conscious mind and your body, right? Your conscious mind reflects your entire body, and yet it's only a single part, right? So it's about the paradox between the part and the whole. It's an old symbol. It's an old Egyptian symbol, right? So it reminds me of my religious roots, right? That my lineage goes back far before Abrahamism. This is one of the earliest religious symbols that we know. It's also a symbol of transition, right? Like the story of Tiresias, which I like to tell sometimes, is how there was a man who struck two serpents that were consuming each other's tails. They were wrapped up in coitus like this. And Tiresias struck the serpent and was transformed into a woman. Right, so there are many meanings of this tattoo, right? It means quite a lot. and depending on the context and where I am in this daily monologue, I will say different things about it. That's not an exhaustive list, but it's a very important symbol to me. I got this marked on my hand when I transitioned, right? Because there's a prayer that I say early in the morning. It shall be bound as a symbol on your hand. It shall serve as a sign on your forehead, right? So it's a symbol about repetition, recreation, reincarnation, all those things. So, we're going to say arati. And the word arati is Sanskrit for flame, light. So here we have our little temple flame. And so we're going to say the names of some Hindu deities, Hindu gods. And these are all gods from the Indian subcontinent, mostly, although we'll get to Jesus and Muhammad and Guru Nanak. We'll get to some Abrahamic deities, Abrahamic gurus as well. Sanskrit, that's your people's language. Well, I'm sure Hindu, that's your people's religion. Well, I'm sure that you speak it better than me, and I'm sure you understand it better than me. I learned this prayer from the Shivananda yoga tradition. Shivananda was an Indian guru who sent acolytes to America to teach white people about Hinduism, and my mother brought me there when I was very young, and I learned these prayers. So Arati is the closing prayer. Closing prayer after kirtan, after collective prayer saying together, we say Arati, and the light is passed around the room, and we all remember the flame, right? And the refrain, Jaya Jaya Arati, we wave the light. We wave the light in the name of these various gods. And Lightbringer, I'm sure you've heard these names before. The first one is Ganesh. Here we have Ganesh. We'll put Ganesh on the altar. All you can see is a little bit of his head. And bring it down. There we are. Here's Ganesh. And we'll say the names of some other deities as well. And the central theme of this prayer is that all of those deities are actually the same deity, even though they have different stories. They each have different mythologies. They come from a different part of India, right? Even though they are unique in the details, at their core, they're all the same, right? At their core, God is one, Yahweh Echad, right? That's the thesis. It's the central thesis. Every time I'm on here, that's all I say. God is one. Serpent eats its tail. And all of these names of gods that I'm going to tell you are actually the same God. And as I say these words in Sanskrit, I promise you that some people are going to come into the room and they're going to say, what is this? What language is this? And then, if you're paying attention, you can tell them, it's Sanskrit. It's from the Shivananda tradition. And then maybe I won't have to tell them. There are North Indians that have a bit different stories to us. Yeah, there are many different stories. And we're going to name a few of them right now. You ready? Jaya Jaya Arati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jaya Arati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Vanita Chora Jaya Jaya Arati Venkanta Ramana Venkanta Ramana Sankata Harana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jaya Arati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jaya Arati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jaya Arati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jaya Arati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimutaravatara Jaya Jaya Arati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sanistaraya Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sankarachaya Sankarachaya Advaita Grave Jaya Jaya Arati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda, Jaya Jaya Arati Vishnu Devananda, Vishnu Devananda, Vishnu Devananda, Jaya Jaya Arati Agastya Munaye, Agastya Munaye, Shriyama Priyaye, Jaya Jaya Arati Ayapa Swamine, Ayapa Swamine, Dharma Shastave, Jaya Jaya Arati Jesus Grave, Moses Grave, Buddha Grave, Jaya Jaya Arati Muhammad Grave, Guru Nanak Grave, Samastya Guru Namaha, Jaya Jaya Arati Avenu Gopala. Natatra Suyobati Natandra Karatam Nema Vidyobati Kutoya Magni Twameva Bantam Bandi Sarvam Tasya Basya Samidam Bivanti Gange Kayamune Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhika Veri Hiya Namastitam Namo Namaha. Twameva mata chapita twameva, twameva bandusha saka twameva, twameva vidya javinam twameva, twameva sarvam mama deva deva, kayena vacha manasendriyarva, buddhyatmanava prakrite sabhavad, karomi adyad mangalam parasmahi, narayana iti sarmar payami. Sarvadharmam pravichaya mamikam savarnam vraja aham sva sarva papayo mokshayami masucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these, I dedicate to you, to all of you. Thank you all so much for being here with me this morning. It means a lot, right? It gives me a sense of meaning and purpose. I hope it gives you a sense of meaning and purpose, right? I feel so lucky to be here with you all today. Good morning, Kevin Kamya. How are you doing on this morning? So, we have one more prayer before breakfast. And that prayer is Kaddish. I was saying earlier about the etymology of this word, but of course most of you weren't here. You haven't been to sleep yet. Oh no. Well, I hope you get some rest soon. Have I considered getting a lamp? What do you mean? A lamp like this? Here's my lamp. Arati lamp. So Kaddish is a Semitic word. Goes back at least 5,000 years. And it's the name of various cities in the Eastern Mediterranean. Also the name of some goddesses, specifically this goddess, right? This is an Egyptian version of her. Goddess of sex, clearly. Look at that erect man. And that name is echoed in the Hebrew Bible. Kadisha is a word for prostitute. There's admonitions, don't be a Kadisha. And yet, that word also means holy in Hebrew. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Isaiah, prophesying the destruction of his holy city of Jerusalem, stands at the foot of God. And angels cover Yahweh's physical being so that he cannot be seen, right? Because Yahweh has no physical being that can be perceived. All Isaiah could perceive was the angels. And the angels were shouting, Kadosh, 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 holy, holy, holy. And from that time to this, the word Kadosh, Kaddish, Kadesh, has been associated with grieving. And so we will say Kaddish, we'll say the mourner's Kaddish for all those who died yesterday from coronavirus and all sorts of death and injustice. All the death and injustice that has plagued the living since our lineage began 3.8 billion years ago with Luca. Luca was the first, but not the last creature to suffer. And every other creature that has been on this tree has suffered and has been subject to death. And we can mourn all of them. So, at this point in the stream, at this very end of the stream, if there's anything that you are mourning, if there's anyone that you are grieving, I encourage you to place their names in the chat, and we can fill our space right now, fill our space of shared attention, right? That's what the chat is. It's what we're all paying attention to. We can fill the space of shared attention with those that we are grieving, those whom we are mourning, and we can let them go together with the following words that my ancestors have been saying for the last 2,500 years. Is Kaddish, Shema Rabba. V'yama divrachute v'yamlich malchute. B'chaychon v'yamechon v'chayed kol beit Yisrael. B'agalav v'zman kari v'imr. Amen. Yehe Shema Rabba miv'arach li'alam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'ishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yirmam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'ytalei v'ytalal Shemei d'kudisha b'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechimata. Jamiran v'yama v'imr. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'yachol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Ose Shalom B'imrama. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Aleinu V'yachol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Ose Shalom B'imrama. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'yachol Yisrael V'imru V'imru Amen. Thank you all so much for joining me today. You can blow out the lamp, move Ganesh away, take off the prayer shawl, and we can have breakfast. Good food, good meat, good God, let's eat. Morning ritual. You're just about to finish work at 5 p.m. here in England. Amen. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great day and keep inspiring others. You too, Knick-Knack. You too. So, you're going to turn the camera around. We're going to have some breakfast. Woohoo. First to bring it close. What if I stream the entire stream like this? Just a big close-up of my face. That might be a little overwhelming. I'd be able to read the chat better, though.